Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Kuramawian. And before I show you what I built, let me show you what I did last night. So last night I went to a meetup hosted by Torque and it was in Manhattan and it was a good time being there and I was able to meet Taylor. He's one of the individuals really pushing the community of Torque and it was in downtown Manhattan. I met some new people, I saw some familiar faces and it was a cool venue as you can see. It was at a bar on a 15th floor near Wall Street. So it was very nice, very cool, and I had fun. So shout out to Taylor and Torque for hosting such an awesome meetup. So yeah, by the way, yeah, that's me and Taylor. But nevertheless, let's get straight to business. So I decided to build a to-do list app to really practice what I decided to make my tech stack, which is going to be React, TypeScript, Tailwind, and then for authentication, Clerk, which is this, and for my database, Supabase, and then use Postgres as the SQL language in order to communicate with Supabase, and then for the backend, I decided to use Java and Spring Boot. So I've been learning Java and Spring Boot for about 2 months. I still have a lot to learn, but again, the best way to learn, right, is by doing. So I decided to work on this to-do list app and really make sure that all the pieces work together. And it was a bit confusing because I needed to go from Spring Boot back to React to make sure like everything made sense. But I think funny enough, the thing that was more complicated for me was Clerk. I was a bit confused, but after a couple of days, I really got the hang of it. So essentially, as you can see here, go to a sign-in page, and when you authenticate with Clerk, I just love Clerk, man. I'm a really big fan. So you already know the deal. I can do a to-do, and then I add it, and I can another one, ha ha ha, and just enter it. And I still need to add the delete, but the cool thing about it is if I delete it with a SQL command, let's say number 8. So if I do 8, run this query, boom. When we go back, number 8 now is gone. And when we go to the application and refresh, it's gone. So the cool thing about it is now, if I sign out and log back in, but with a different account, it won't show me the to-dos. So there's a split of things to do, right? So I can do new to-do. And when I go to the database, I refresh. Now we have the user ID is here and placed. So that was fun to do. And Supabase was really easy to set up. I'm not even going to lie. I was like so surprised. It took me like maybe like 2 minutes to set up. And then I was good to go. Because again, I'm using Supabase just only for to storing the data. I have no desire of doing nothing else with it. So yes, so that's currently the application, and Clerk is just so cool. Like I can manage, I can update the picture, I can change the name, I can update the username. So I don't have to do any of this on my own anymore. So if you saw my previous videos like a couple months ago when I was doing a chat application, I had to do like the hashing of the passwords, that good stuff, which was fun to learn. But man, now I see why Clerk is so popular right now because everything is literally set up. So I don't have to worry about basically nothing. So the authentication is there in the sign up process as well. I can sign in. I'm not going to do it. You guys know what it is. So if I don't have a user, couldn't find your account. Why? Because it's not here as a different user. So and now I see why Clerk is so powerful and so popular because it's just very smooth. Once you get the hang of it, it becomes very easy to use. So now the final steps are to make sure I can delete and make sure I can update, and then really make sure that I understand the code base because I'm not going to lie. On this portion, I was a bit lost. Where is it? So here. So I learned about security config today. So I was working on this section, and at this part here, I understand it. So here, this portion here, I needed Gemini to help me because I just didn't know how to get over the hump with the course restrictions. And this is one of the things, like you can use AI to help you learn things faster. So I either have two options. I either spend hours on hours to do this, or I can just see an example and now I know how to do it. So I'm happy with the end result. I'm gonna go over the code base specifically with Spring Boot to make sure I understand now the DTLs and the services and controllers. So this is not that difficult for me. I just need to make sure I really understand the process, making sure Spring Boot and React come together. Because once I started working with the JavaScript portion, I did it so quick because that's a great thing. When you use Java and Spring Boot as your backend and you make your backend, all you have to do is literally tap into your endpoints and then you're good to go. So thank you so much for watching. See you on the next one. Peace.